Hey everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be going through tens of thousands, or probably just like over $10,000 of purchases that I recently made. We're going to be unboxing a bunch of different packages, and they've been kind of accumulating, so I'm like, okay, gotta go through what I've got. I think there's some really exciting collections, some really exciting dealer purchases, and hopefully you can learn a bit of history along the way. But these are some of my favorites. It's going to be almost all world and ancient coins. That's really where I've been trending recently in terms of what I've been focused on from the dealing perspective, though we're continuing to try to show as much kind of US interesting coin recap as possible. So anyways, let's dive in and start tearing open some packages. Mail call, one of my favorite times, and this is, I guess I could make a bunch of different videos, but I'm like, in this case I'm just going to go through and have a mega unboxing video. So we'll kick off this multi-group unboxing, and I'm going to start with a bunch of British coins, really fascinating stuff. I'm going to first take a look at the crowns, and then I bought some Condor tokens. So the way I'm going to do this, I think, is that we're going to put these to the side. I'm going to first get all the years, sort these by year and general condition. And actually, I've sold, I think, 60 of these to a friend of mine already. These ones I have not sold yet, but again, I've really emphasized doing that. There's some coins later in the video that I've already sold to some people as well, even before they come in. So again, going to open all of these, and then we're also going to take a look at, because it looks like there's some pretty nice condition. I'm in like the, I think $12 to $13 range. Let me do the math in my head. Yeah, but like $12.75 in terms of my cost on most of those, which could actually be a little bit strong. On these, I'm going to be very low $40 range. So yeah, let's see what dates we get. And here are the results of the unboxing. I think I would say honestly that the crowns were maybe a little less nice looking than I was expecting. But I have sold 65 of them for a slightly less than $2 profit each, and after shipping, probably be making about $100. Normally it's a little more than I spend, whatever that is, like, you know, $2,500 to make $100. But that's what you got to do when you're chasing down coins. And I always think it's kind of interesting just to make sure I'm staying on top of my suppliers, buying their material. But I want to show, I thought this was cool because there were all different types of Condor tokens. There's a ton of history. They're all popping up in the late 1700s as there's, you know, Britain's fighting a war, especially in remote areas, but really all over. They are struggling to pay and mint enough coins for small change. So some of my favorite designs here, I have a Isaac Newton, pretty worn, but a 1793 Isaac Newton halfpenny. We have a bunch of the Druid types, which is a very classic Angsley mines, and that refers to likely kind of a mining company where they would mint those coins. They might have been a bit more remote or something like that, especially the Cronbane halfpenny, which is a classic one, Associated Irish Miners' Arms. A few of my other favorite types that I pulled off the screen. Coventry halfpenny has an awesome elephant holding a castle on the back with the Pro Bono Publico on the reverse. They also have kind of a satire, may Great Britain ever remain the reverse, basically saying we don't want to be like France, and showing a little bit of sort of patriotic competition and spirit. And then on this one, interesting biblical 1 Kings chapter 4 verse 33. So I hadn't seen too many of those. A nice Bath token, but also an interesting type. And let's see, I had pulled this one clearly. I think that this was just like, hey, really nice ship portrait. I think two more. We've got a fun Queen Elizabeth Chichester halfpenny. Queen Elizabeth, I think she was reigning something like 1560 to 1601, somewhere in that range. I should have looked it up before the video. And then lastly, this reminds me of the Macedon Philippi, two priests pulling an oxen, being pulled by oxen. And I actually didn't see this. 2J Palmyr. This is inscribed as a token of gratitude for, let's see, discussing mail coaches. It is interesting. I'm always thankful to the USPS, FedEx, UPS, DHL for shipping my material well to all of you as I sell it. So always great. There's another promissory halfpenny, kind of alluding to that history of these Condor tokens being used, promising and being used as a substitute for a real halfpenny. But big diversity of types here. I like the Condors a lot. The crowns may be slight disappointment, but not terrible. And we'll get those packed up and shipped out soon. I think next up we're going to do an interesting kind of Japanese coin unboxing. Bunch of bar money and some fake bar money. And I've got the items in front of me, and I'm going to start with the ones probably on the left. So these are basically Japanese silver boo, and they would have been produced after America. Commodore Perry had kind of made his grand entry into Japan, though they would be phased out not too long from then. Actually, that's not true. Some of them were earlier. I think they're like 1837 to 1868. But all of these have been used in some kind of, whether somebody put a hole in the middle of it, kind of unfortunate, or you put them, for use in a necklace. I think that this is actually really cool. There's this one, which is like, I'm not exactly sure, but maybe some kind of like a buckle. And we have two metal pieces affixed to the two boos. And we see both the front and the back of it. Kind of neat. My favorite was these cufflinks. I have some Mercury dime cufflinks. I've never seen that though, with nice Tokugawa Japanese silver. I thought that was really, really fun. So either I'm going to keep these, but I don't wear cufflinks that much, so I may sell them, but I just thought that was really neat. On the other hand, over here, normally this would be really bad news, but I bought them knowingly, and these are like contemporary counterfeits. So they would have been made, some of these probably shortly after, like in the late 1800s. Maybe a few of them are more modern than that, but many of them have clearly seen some time in circulation, but they are, there's a chance that they're real, and I spoke to the seller about them, but they seem mostly like they would have been struck after, out of lower percentage silver, in an imitative fashion to try to be passed off as genuine silver Japanese bar money. There are a few of them, like this one. To me, this looks like it could be maybe a more modern fake. So that would be something. And also note that the positioning is kind of strange of the inner punch on some of these. Let me see if I can find them, because I look kind of close at them. Like on this one I also, but the Sakuras are like doubled and much, they're more modern. That one I think could be like a late 1900s fake, though could be wrong, but fascinating, interesting thing, because I don't know, people are often pretty interested in like contemporary counterfeit items, and then these were just kind of like an interesting group with some ex-jewelry. Next up, we have a big collection of some Russian and some Bulgarian and some Parthian and Seleucid and English. Actually, a few more Condor tokens, all from the same seller. So let's go to that next. Here is our next batch, all from the same seller. I think I paid around $1,000 for everything here. And hopefully we'll be able to do well. I think it'll be solid, probably not great, but we're going to start with a bunch of 5 kopecks. Actually, some of these are really nice looking, which is great, because, I don't know, I feel like people have been recently, I've noticed a trend, people paying up a lot for better condition items. That's, I think, one of the last years that they were minted, 1796, and we'll note that it goes more to the AM as opposed to EM as the mint mark, but we got, I think it was a total of 12 like it. There were a few at the back that were less nice looking, so not everything's a home run. Love the 1776, always looking for 1776. Really the highlight and why I bought this group was because there were 3 of these. These are incredible. These are Siberian coins, and so I think these are minted in Tobolsk, but they show kind of the eastward expansion, much less common than their sort of, the 5 kopecks I just showed you. I believe these are 10 kopecks. They have the Catherine, Ekaterina Catherine the Great insignia on the reverse, minted, KM, much tougher mint to find, much tougher coin to find, and these are going to be awesome. I've never handled these 10 kopek versions before, and I was thrilled to pick some up, so that should be really fun. Don't want to spend too much time on these just because we talked about them already in their history, but nice mix of a few interesting. I love that detailed, intricate castle, and these are, for the most part, I think like decent eye appeal. They're not great eye appeal. I got a fantastic group in that I made a video about a few weeks ago, but also not bad. King and Constitution, pretty fun. And then we got 8 of these. I get these in from time to time. I've not been able to like acquire a ton of them all at once, but here it shows a nice portrait of Christ on the reverse of it, which is interesting. And these are medieval Bulgarian coins. So they're Ivan Alexander, and I think it's Alexander and Michael the Fourth. They hold a cross, and then we've got an enthroned Jesus. And I think, broadly speaking, Bulgaria did pretty well during their reign, but then, they're fighting a bunch against the Ottomans as well, and so they're not always like guaranteed success there. This last group has some interesting coins. I mean, I'm pretty positive that these are Parthian bronzes. I feel like this one likely authentic, but I might send them to be taken a look at by NGC, as much as some ancients collectors don't like that. These, though, really nice Seleucid tetradrams. This is Seleucid, and so is this one. I think this one is like Antiochus, but there's a few different Antiochuses. I would guess that that's Soter, 281 to 261, but I could be wrong. Seleucid Empire rules over everything from sort of like Syrian area to Iran, goes all the way out to the Central Asian provinces, though they eventually break away under the Bactrian rule. And then this one, it says Basileus, King Antiochoi, and then it says like EYEP. I think it's not P though. I feel like that's more something like, I was thinking Epiphanes, but that doesn't necessarily spell Epiphanes. I should probably take a closer look. It would be pretty easy to identify it with a little bit of time here. And then we had, this one is a Kings of Persis, so those are sub-kings of the Parthians, and then the Parthians had broken away from Seleucid rule by the mid-200s BC. I think these are like approximately, what is it, like 70 to 57, or maybe that's a Mithridates, but these are like earlier types, which are neat. I wasn't sure exactly what's going on with the surface on that one, but they have this archer, Arsaces, who led some of the revolts as they broke away. So nice little group there. The next one is going to be also a few more ancients, though maybe with more of a Roman focus. And this next collection is a mini batch of stuff that I was pretty excited to pick up, actually, because it's a lot of cool types and, good looking coins, I would say. Just to highlight a few of my favorite here, this is a coin of Antonia, the daughter of Mark Antony. It's pretty worn, but it's a pretty decent looking sestertius in my opinion. And Mark Antony would have fought against Augustus, who this is a sestertius of. And actually, maybe that past one was a smaller, like an ass. But this one, really, really interesting portrait. I love they almost look like elephants to me, but maybe they're oxen or some kind of, something maneuvering on the front. Need to learn a little bit more. This is a great coin of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher. I believe that is Marcus, and that is Antoninus Pius, and again, very focused on meditations. His seminal work, there's a young Marcus Aurelius, and we got a few more of his bronzes in very decent, while they're worn, they're relatively good eye appeal. Love that reverse type. It's pretty unique, and I haven't seen it much before. Then I guess we get over here, this is a in the wake of her death, Diva Mariana, and it has the Consecratio reverse, but commemorating her, and I think that would have been like 253-ish. Is that like Trebonianus Gallus? I forget exactly who would have been commemorating her. Philip the Arab rules after Gordian. These are some decent looking Antoniani, and Otticilia Severa, thought to be one of the first Christians. That's the Empress alongside Philip. Pudicitia, clearly featured there on that reverse. Here we have Nero, an important persecutor of Christians, who dies in 68 AD. And then we have some really interesting and nice looking, a lot of the potentates, you don't see quite as many nice ones like this. This is of Gallienus, who there were a ton of different problems during his reign. He co-rules with his father Valerian, but when Valerian dies, in like 260, tons of unrest. The Romano-Gallic Empire, Postumus, breaks away. There's the Palmyran over in Syria. A lot of interesting stuff going on there. Tacitus is installed after Aurelian's assassination. There's a nice tetradrachm of Tacitus. So tons of beautiful coins. Then we have some like less great condition bronzes over here. Really like this coin of Severina. Nice larger bronze, but some smaller denominations over here. That's also pretty nice looking in person. Anyways, fun. And next we've got a bunch of Russian coins. And in classic Treasure Town fashion, I unboxed everything. I put it all out, perfect for a video. And then that was really late last night. Then I got up early this morning before Whatnot sale and started putting everything in flips. And then I realized I forgot to take the video. So we got 64 5 kopecks here, plus another 4 of the 5 kopecks from 1776. Awesome, a Revolutionary War date. But we have a bunch of dengas. I'm going to start with... So Queen Anna, give a little bit of Russian history. This would have been, that's like 40 is what I would read there, but it's really like 1730 to 1740 is going to be Queen Anna. And she was, so Peter the Great of the Romanovs dies, and she's his niece. And then in sort of a coup after a different ruler, I think it's a guy from like 1740 to 41, we get... Elizabeth Petrovna, and so she's recognized on some of the earlier 5 kopecks, but she obviously has a bunch of these like half kopek denga coins, and I think in terms of like her legacy was actually pretty good within Russia, and they fought in the 7 Years' War during that time, and then we get to Elizabeth Petrovna, who Catherine the Great, who is actually like Prussian, so she's born in modern day Poland, but more of like a German background, and she is pretty tough, but also kind of helps Russia reach what I would probably consider its zenith, just really strong, and they annex Crimea, so something that's clearly coming up again today. And then after Catherine the Great, we have Paul, who we have a few coins down here. I think that was the son of Catherine the Great, but it was pretty challenging. He was assassinated, and then his son Alexander the First comes in 1801 to 1825, who I think is viewed relatively positively within kind of Russian history. And then Nicholas the First, we have a few of his coins. Where did they go? 24. Oh yeah, I started to put them in flips. 25 through 55. He also has like these kopek cerebrum smaller coins, and he was viewed as pretty tough, but also included the Crimean War. And then we have Alexander the Liberator, who we got one coin, I think that was actually mistakenly included in my order, 1862 kopecks, and so he had emancipated the serfs in 1861, which is why he was called the Liberator. But anyways, those are the Russian coins here. They were going to do our last unboxing, which is a bunch of ancient and world coins and some medieval, so really excited for that, and then we'll wrap this video. But a lot of value being unboxed here for sure. And this is a truly incredible group in front of me. Again, spent a bit over $4,000 on it, and I'm just going to start and try to go group by group and just come away with some kind of key takeaways. The first, these are Adarshir tetradrachms, and he is a Sasanian ruler, one of the founders of the Sasanian Arsaces, was the Parthian founder. Adarshir breaks away from them in the early 200s, and you can see a Zoroastrian fire altar. That's kind of the religion that he, strongly supports and, brings to prominence. These are a bunch of earlier Sasanian rulers, most of them Khusro the First or Hormazd the Fourth, and so those are all silver drams, and I had separated those from a larger group of a ton of other Khusro the Second, who was going to be a person who fought a bunch of Byzantine wars. I remember he captured Jerusalem in about 614, but he gets executed about 14 years later, and shortly after that, the rise of basically Islamic powers behind Muhammad, and in the wake of his death, really take them over. That's sort of like ancient Iran. Then we've got a bunch of tetradrachms of Philip Philadelphus, and so he's a late Seleucid ruler, and really during its downfall, you can see Philippoi, but pretty worn overall. I paid in the mid 70s a coin, so I actually am not sure how much squeeze I'll be able to get on them. Maybe make $5-10 a coin, but I thought that it was something interesting just to boost the inventory with and learn about. But the Seleucids break away from Alexander the Great under Seleucus. After that empire kind of gets split up. But there's a ton over here of like German states coins. Here, just as an example, we've got some of Prince Otto von Bayern. Here, similar situation, bunch of different. This looks like it's a Prussian type. We've got some Prussian commemoratives for the 200th anniversary of their founding. We have some older ex-jewelry style items. Here's Maximilian II, still in really good shape, just unfortunate. Then super interesting, we had a few of these porcelain coins. There's Martin Luther, 1 mark, 1921, just beautiful, interesting world coins in porcelain. There's a 20 Pfennig from Saxony. And then it looks like we do have some, I think these are Holy Roman Empire, 20 Crazier, that's from 1772, much older, 1764, again, nice altar. And then down here, these are insane, super large. I think they're the Prince Bishopric of Liège, which is sort of Belgian states. Very large coins, and I was very pleased about them. Just huge planchet, and I've never ever owned one of them, so I was pretty excited. A Patagon and a Ducaton. And then over here we had, I think these were older French coins, as well as a coin from the city of Strasbourg, which is like on the border with France and Germany, but 1654, pretty large. I think that might be like a third écu. Yeah, might be a little smaller, and this might be a sixth, but showing a, what would that be? After Henry that would be Louis, a very young Louis it just says right there, 14th. I think that would have been like 1643 to 1715. The Sun King reigns for a really long time. Anyways, great first start. We've got another like 5 or 6 packages that I'm just thrilled with, and I can't wait to unbox those as well. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to head on over to treasuretown.com and sign up for our email list to stay up to date on everything that's happening, whether it's auction updates, exciting new inventory drops, coin collecting news, or general informational resources. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on another one.